The Nightmare of Angkrat-Bor is a Terra Fabrica production, and is based on the 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons adventure of the same name, and the 2017 short story I Will Be Mythrari, both written by Cleo Urquhart. This production includes profanity, violence, and references to terminal illness. Listener discretion is advised.
You actually are cold. Hey guys, hey guys. It's the cold open. Alright, ignoring any alleged emotional crises that happened last time, we're gonna jump right in. This is Captain's Log 186. It's the 19th of Mayam, and a beautiful overcast. Alright, wait a minute. Let me revise that. It's a disappointingly overcast, grim, and decrepitly eerie day on the beaches of the island of Mythrari. Last time, we unfortunately lost one of our crew members due to a shark attack, which our writer arranged for him. But we're going to move right along with that with just as much resolve as ever. Honestly, it was really quite surprising and epic. I did not expect a giant shark to jump out of the water and snatch him up in one of my thopters, though they were extremely well engineered, mind you. It was quite the sight. I haven't reviewed any of the footage that Cassie is supposed to have been collecting, but hopefully she got that somehow, because holy shit, that was just a literal narrative leap. Assuming, of course, that the shark was an exemplar of the narrative. Okay, I digress. Last time, we met our crew members. Fergus Dale, deceased. Theodora Hagamoros, Shell, and that other fellow. What was their name? I don't know. The fourth crewmate. They settled into their positions. Cassie and Cassandra played a game of Runesian spider chess, and they placed a little wager on that. Now, Cassandra has lost the game. She has to cook all of our meals, which means Cassie has like 5% less work to do. Amazing. After that, someone died. Like I said, it was Fergus. The someone who died was Fergus. By the way, he was the only one with a family, as far as I know. Fucking brutal, man. I mean, that shark, freaking enormous, that shark. Whew. But hey, we reached Mythrari, which means now we get to gather a lot of data. Let's catch up on The Nightmare of Angkrat-Bor, a Terra Fabrica limited series.
The sand is amazing. It's so smooth and white.
Careful, Theodora. You never know what might be hiding in the sand. Look, a hermit crab.
Everyone, please make at least somewhat of an effort to stay together. We don't know what might be lurking out there. I imagine that something has noticed us from the jungle, long before we'll ever notice it. Cassie?
Yes, Captain?
Cassie, if you wouldn't mind staying with this Thunderwolf, make sure nothing strange happens in this area, and if you can, figure out how to alert me if there's any intruders.
Captain, you're well aware that my tether cells won't allow me to pass outside of a 30-meter radius from the Thunderwolf without significant power loss.
Yeah, I know. I'll have to figure out a way around that one day. I could really use you out there.
I will stay with the ship, Captain Seal.
Thank you, Cassie. Please stay safe.
Look, Theodora! Look, crewmate number 4! I found an awesome stick!
Whoa, that's like the perfect stick. The perfect length and width.
I know, right? While you were wasting away at this dead-end job, I was studying the art of the stick.
I don't know where you come up with that shit, Shell. You're silly. Captain, over here. Someone built a bonfire on the beach, it looks like.
Interesting.
Looks a bit old, but not too old. It could have been made in, I don't know, the last few days. The wood, though, is wet and rotten.
What you got there, crewmate number 4?
Oh, just a hermit crab.
You should really leave the local fauna alone.
It's fine. He's my best friend. Ow, he pinched me.
See what happens?
Oh no, I'm bleeding. I'm feeling a bit.
Oh my god, that's a lot of blood. Just got pinched by a hermit crab?
Crewmate number 4, are you okay?
Hey, guys. The dam is breaking.
What the hell is that supposed to mean?
He's literally draining blood out of his finger, like a garden hose.
Well, do something! Does anyone have anything?
Anyone got a tourniquet or a bandage?
Nobody? Are we just letting this happen then?
He's as white as a sheet, and there's an actual puddle of blood on the sand.
And he's gone. Well, fuck. What the fuck, guys? He just died.
I'm so confused. Was he literally just a walking blood balloon this whole time?
That seems pretty accurate to the situation.
I mean, you think you know a person, then he pops and deflates in front of you.
It really makes you think about the fragile impermanence of life.
That was really wise, Shell.
Really?
No.
Okay. Well, let's just move along and pretend like that never happened.
Captain's Log 187. Mythrari is blooming with biodiversity. Hold on, listeners. I want to try something. Stop. Mythrari is blooming with biodiversity. From the beach to the jungle front. Each shaft of driftwood and each drift of sand is alive with sand shrews, crabs, burrowing beach toads, mites, and worms. Mosquitoes, beach wasps, and seagulls mill about, picking at the scraps of washed-up refuse and eyeing newcomers, hoping for the possibility of a new meal. Stop. Who knows what lies within the impassable reach of the jungle? The skulker's jungle, they call it. But who or what is a skulker? The jungle is so dense with foliage, dangling vines dotted with white flowers, and perhaps full of creatures watching our every move, and we would have no way of being able to tell. Stop. Walking along the pure white gypsum beach, I stride amid washed-up kelp, deposited shark egg pods, perhaps belonging to our attacker, or some other lurking sea beast. Stop. The beach wasp... What are you guys doing? I'm trying to be cool over here and do a telegraph narration over... Okay, fine, I'm coming. Full stop.
All right, I'm here. What's going on?
Captain, southward along the beach there appears to be a structure, some kind of stonework installment. It's hard to tell from here, but it could be the Yantali facility that people often talk about. Captain, southward along the beach there appears to be a structure, some kind of stonework installment. It's hard to tell from here, but it could be the Yantali facility that people often talk about.
I have the most eerie feeling that we're being watched.
Me too. This jungle is so creepy.
Oh, I almost forgot. I have this.
What's that?
It's the most recent map of Mythrari Island. It's a little old, though. It's from the 1760s. I found it when I cleared out my father's house a few years ago.
Okay, let me see. I mean, according to this, there's a lake in the center of the island, and another island in the center of that lake. But the mapped coastline seems to have a different coastline than where we are here. Although I suppose it might be difficult to get a good vantage point.
The Skulkers jungle more or less surrounds the entire island, but there's these cursed structures. Those might be good places to take shelter when we decide to hike in.
Wait, we're going into the jungle?
You can't be serious.
Of course I'm serious. Why do you think we're here?
I don't know. I kind of thought you were trying to prove some kind of point.
Well, I mean, maybe. But my goal was always to map the island, document the wildlife, investigate the Yantali Empire installments, and inevitably, and hopefully, learn more about what people often describe in stories about the island as the strange energy or life force of the place.
It seems so spooky, though.
Aren't you concerned that we don't have enough bodies or supplies to make it to the interior?
Look, Theodora, I am doing this. I hired you to assist with the endeavor. Now it's time. This is just a job. How about that? I need you particularly to assist with the cartography aspect.
Sure. Just a job.
Everyone have what they need? We're gonna hike south towards the structure.
Good to go, Captain. This is most definitely a Yantali facility. See there? There's Yantali sigils on the outer walls. But they are worn down. It's a piece of shit, honestly.
Well, I'm not sure that it's really a piece of shit. It looks like it was built right into the edge of the jungle, so that most of the stonework and stucco was disguised by the foliage. I think it was an effort to try and camouflage the facility. I mean, look, there's vines and heavy foliage growing over the roof tiles, which must have taken years. I think this wasn't intentional.
Can we get inside?
I learned long ago, always try the front door first. Hello? Anyone there? Hello?
I don't think anyone's here. What is this?
It's a sample of something. I'm honestly not really sure, but the long and short of it is that a container washed up on the shore on Umawan Island near Altatop. The container had these vials and logbooks of laboratory records belonging to a Dr. Voss Hakesi. The Yantali Empire was performing some kind of biological experiment here. I brought the vials hoping that I might find a match in the facility. I believe it's called Gazamoro. One of the experiments the log mentioned was named LZ-47, but for some reason the Empire got spooked and started pulling out of the project entirely. Evidently, Dr. Hakesi stayed the longest, by the looks of the logs. I'm not sure if they remained here much longer. Who knows?
Whoa, something spooked a whole empire? That thing must be really scary.
I guess they just didn't see it as a valuable investment anymore. I mean, it's not like they went very far. There's a Yantali outpost under Shah Renan near Andu Island. That's like a day out, northeast.
Did the log say anything about what LZ-47 was?
Not specifically. It mentioned genetic research and gestational periods. And it also talked about how the lab workers began experiencing strange physical and psychological symptoms. And that local wildlife seemed to be growing ill, like vegetation decaying and local animals dying off. I linked that with something that was happening nearby in Andu, which was a recent massive die-off of fish. And, did you see on the northeast side of the beach where we landed? How the trees were all twisted up and rotten.
Yeah, no, I did notice that.
I'm just wondering if those things are linked, you know? Wondering if the Yantali Empire created some kind of ecological disaster here.
What was that?
Be very quiet. I'm going to try the door. Okay, everybody in, quick. Shit. What the hell was that? Everybody inside, now!
Shell, get in here. What are you doing?
Oh no! My shell is stuck! I can't get through the door! Help me! Help! Help! Help me! You guys, help me!
Grab an arm, Cassandra! Got it! Oh, fuck. Is that a dinosaur?
Oh, I thought those were extinct.
Ah! Guys, come on! There's a pertinent task at hand! It's got my shell! Ah!
Damn it. Get out of the way.
Ah! Remember me!
Quick, help me close the door. Help me barricade it shut.
Shit. Everyone's dead. My people. They're all gone. Fuck. What am I gonna do?
Captain's Log 188. We've been better. We're a little worse for wear. Who would have thought? Actual dinosaurs. Is that why Mythrari is so dangerous, or are dinosaurs what the Yantali Empire was working on? 75% of my crew is dead. Well, on the bright side, I'm gonna save a whole lot of cubex. That's probably the wrong attitude. Of course, I feel horrible. I can't believe this is how our mission is going. I mean, we all knew that Mythrari was dangerous, but this dangerous? Although I can say that crewmate number 4's alleged deflation and subsequent death was totally on them. We're holed up in the laboratory now. The facility seems to have been stripped of most of its valuables and equipment. It has also been invaded by the local vegetation, which is starting to destroy the foundation and split some of the walls. I do understand why the Empire wanted to build this facility with older stonework, stucco, and terracotta to try and camouflage the place a bit better into the natural landscape. But the natural landscape is absorbing the place back in. The facility must have housed several dozen scientists and workers at its height. There's enough space to house that many people, but like I said, everything has been stripped away. It's not built tall, but rather is a very spread out campus. We were able to calm Theodora down, but I think losing 3 friends in the span of a day or so is not something that will be easy to recover from. She's tough, though, I think. Hey, we're all a little tough. A lot. The main reason that I wanted to talk to you tonight is this. We found something else in this lab. Someone else. A body. They are a merfolk, a Yantali. They're little more than scraps and bones now, but they held a very detailed journal and a sono recorder, much like this one. With your permission, I'd like you to hear their story. Please listen to the story of Dr. Voss Hakassi. As we learned it, it all began 35 years ago at this very laboratory.
Greetings. My name is Dr. Voss Hakesi. It is 9 in the morning on a sunny 9th of Emesma, 1821. And people, we've made some breakthroughs. Apologies, I'm getting ahead of myself. Again, my name is Dr. Voss Hakesi, lead scientist and geneticist at Gazamor Laboratory on Mythrari Island, representing the Yantali Empire's Exploratory Sciences Commission. We are here on Mythrari at Gazamor Labs conducting research on the local flora and fauna for the purpose of advancing knowledge on gene editing. The research is unequivocally important for work on malignant cancers, birth defects, and any other medical issues that occur within Yantali Empire borders. Today I have collected some brand new eggs from our captive bred Dilophosaurus. The Dilophosaurus is a native to Mythrari Island and one of the only surviving sauroids or dinosaurs, surviving isolated on Mythrari despite global mass extinctions. The Dilophosaurus eggs that we have were taken here from our captive-bred mother, LZ-43, whom we prefer to call Lily. She laid a hatch of 12, of which roughly 5 are viable for our research. Now you may be asking yourself, what exactly might we be doing with these eggs? Well, these eggs are being kept in our state-of-the-art incubators, and while we monitor them, we are using microscopes to regularly assess their daily cellular development. Aside from our untouched control group eggs, 3 of these eggs in the treatment group have been injected with the 89B serum. This serum was developed off-site at the Yantali Lazimir Alchemical Institute and is intended to advance growth of an incubated embryo by 3 times the normal growth rate while maintaining normal and healthy development. During the first week of incubation post-hatch, the treatment group is given 3 2-milliliter injections of the 89B serum, and then they are closely monitored. We should have an effect from the serum within a week or 2, which reflects increased rates of cellular development. Ultimately, we hope that the serum allows the embryo to hatch 3 times as early as the control group embryos. One more thing. The serum is also intended to maintain healthy cell development, and in fact provide some resistance to immune deficiencies or defects. That is our ultimate hope. I will be happy with our progress if the embryos hatch twice as fast and are averagely healthy. The Empire wishes for us to work quickly. I've chosen to create these audio diaries and logs to transcribe them later for our records. I hope you'll be patient with me while I figure out this new sonar recorder technology. Regardless, I am very excited to be appointed lead scientist and geneticist at Gazamoro, and I look forward to our work to come. And I shall be updating you soon on our progress.
No, don't do that. It's not ready yet. Are you trying to ruin this experiment? I thought you wanted this to be done right.
This is Dr. Voss Hakesi. It is currently 11 at night on the 14th of Emesmar, 1821. I don't mean to editorialize, but I am extremely disappointed by the conduct of our visiting Yantali Empire Exploratory Sciences Commission representative. And I am currently unsure what the motive for this current 89B serum experiment actually is. This is Dr. Voss Hakesi. It has been a while. Today is the 26th of Yorman, and it is very early in the morning. The year is now 1826. 5 years ago, the Yantali Lazimir Alchemical Institute came to inspect the initial research that I was conducting as lead scientist using their 89B serum. They ordered me to complete audio logs and journals about the experiment's progress on the Yantali Empire-owned sonar recorders, which is why you have not heard from me in a long time. It was a largely disappointing affair. It was clear from our initial studies on the serum's application that it did work, although its regulation was unstable. I don't think my colleagues, nor I for that matter, expected the serum to be so effective. But the Yantali Empire wanted more. Our first embryo batch we called the Lizzies, or the LZs. They were highly productive, but half of the clutch seemed to garner heightened aggression, and heightened susceptibility to illness and cancers, and cognitive development differences that seemed to vary in extreme ways between individuals in the clutch. Altogether, it was difficult to track these variables, as the Yantali representatives pushed for increases on the serum, and so long as we were continuing to deliver physically stronger sauroid reptiles, it didn't matter. However, everything changed one day, when they released the horrific pitfall of trying to modify and bend nature to their will. I never had direct proof, but I believe strongly that the Yantali Empire intended on utilizing the genetically modified dinosaurs as war beast. Something else has been happening on the island that we are concerned about. For some time, an additional team of scientists, Jason and related to my own team, were undertaking something they called Project Skulker, which was a jungle excavation and harvesting project to expand the laboratory facility. However, the people involved with the projects began noticing the signs of disease in the jungle's flora and fauna, and later on, some of those same people began experiencing the myriad of physical and psychological symptoms as well. Anything from severe nausea, migraines, tremors, and blurred vision to psychosis and severe anxiety. These are troubling things, but the Empire has seemed to push them under the rug. I recorded the details of the affairs in my logs to the best of my ability, but there wasn't much I could do. Altogether, the intention of the Empire's representatives in the Alchemical Institute and Exploratory Sciences Commission made me increasingly nervous. 2 years ago, we experienced an accident at the facility, which compromised the experiments. It was a summer morning, and we were preparing the LZ clutch for conditioning, and their weekly physical examinations usually went very well. Usually they would respond well to me and my team when it came to these exams, but today there was a Yantali representative overseeing this examination. LZ-47, whom me and my team had begun to call Trixie, was being examined in the physician's pen. The Yantali representative was, quite frankly, getting in the way of the normal examination when LZ-47, who was at the time on the 89B serum growth accelerator, and was very much larger than the others in the clutch, lashed out in aggression at the representative. Subsequently, he was mauled to death. It was quite unsightly. Greetings. My name is Voss Hakesi. Dr. Voss Hakesi. The year is probably somewhere around, 1831, I'd suspect. I don't know any longer what month or day it is. Lost track. For 5 years, roughly, I've lived alone on Mythrari Island. And allow me to tell you, if I have your permission, my story. 5 years ago, the Yantali Empire deemed the Gazamor laboratory facility on Mythrari Island defunct, and labeled the Exploratory Sciences Commission and the Lazimir Alchemical Institute null. They were denounced, and I don't really know the outcome, but I am assuming they were either stripped away or repurposed. Who can really say? I can't. I am far from that world now. Yantali believes this island and this facility, my laboratory and my work on genetics, gene editing, research on the strange essence of Mythrari, to be a lackluster investment, a waste of their time, and, more importantly, their money. They shut us all down. Everyone left but me. I stayed. I don't really know why I stayed, to be honest. My colleagues were packing up around me, and I just felt so alone. I felt like I was standing on the precipice of something, hanging over a great wide expanse, watching the world, the whole world, slip away and leave me behind. And yet I felt a strange sense of peace to it. I felt for some strange and unexplainable reason that I belonged here on Mythrari Island, that I was part of it, that the island had claimed me. Of course, nature will reclaim everything in its path, and while I've been here, it has started to. I've used the Gazamora laboratory as my shelter, but the facility is overgrown, creeping with the jungle. The jungle will one day take over this whole place, and there will be nothing left. No sign that I was ever even here. My life would have made no sound, no impact, because no one would be here to witness what I've done. The island will consume everything, yet I don't feel afraid. I just feel content for some reason. I can't explain it all, and I've spent ages trying to figure out what I'm feeling really is, but I haven't been able to parse it. I am thankful that the Empire did not harm the LZ Clutch. They are all living such rich lives on the island. I regard them as my family. I do hope they regard me as theirs. They have never harmed me, never acted aggressively towards me. In fact, LZ-47, Trixie, is about to have a clutch of her own. I think that she will make a great mother. But I am curious, I'll admit, that I do want to see if the 89B serum has any effect on the little ones. They will surely be raised as ferocious little pack hunters, assuming that they survive. Mutated. No, not that word. That's a foul word. They are Dilophosauruses, but they are different. We've changed them. We've edited their genetics. I think we've harmed them in some ways. I've harmed them. I can't help but wonder that the deadly cancers some of the Clutch experienced were the faults of the 89B serum, and that I could have prevented that. But I was a fool. I didn't think. I didn't look at those factors. I did my job. But it was a fool's errand to introduce that mutagenic chemical into the dinosaur's bloodline. Sure, some of them are healthy, but many are very sick. Many of the Dilophosaurus have defects, and have higher vulnerability to illness and injury. It is an injustice to an innocent nature. I only wish I had been proactive. I wish I had argued against the Lazimir Alchemical Institute. I suppose I could spend all of my life worrying about the could've, should've, and would've. But I can only commit to doing better in the future. The Empire was right about something, though. This Mythrari island has a strange atmosphere. It is unlike any place I've ever been. The island exudes a presence that almost feels alive. I know what you might be thinking, but I mean that the island itself feels to know. I feel so called to it, and so connected to it. In truth, I haven't spent much time in the last few years wandering or exploring the entirety of the island. But what I have seen is a jungle so densely diverse that it must contain multitudes of undiscovered knowledges. I know that one day I shall be called to its center. Maybe then I shall be forgiven. This is Dr. Hakesi. It's been quite some time since I last spoke to you. Honestly, I'm surprised this old recorder still works. I think it must be nearing the 1840s, I suppose. Many years have passed, and for a long while I have lived in the Gunfire facility. The jungle has been creeping up its walls, slowly being consumed into the island. I guess it's reclaiming its territory, I suppose. The lab has fallen into complete disarray. The last time I was there, I packed up my laboratory logs, the written versions of my lab recordings that the Empire mandated me to make, that they did not take with them, and a few of the surviving tissue samples, as well as the 89B serum samples. I placed them into the sealed metal box and set them adrift on the sea. Now, you might wonder why I chose to do this. Frankly, age has begun to catch up with me a little. And while I am still as resolved as ever, I believe it is time for someone to notice Mythrari for once. I read through the logs after I had time to explore the island more over the last few years, and quite some time ago, the scientist in Project Skulker, a mission devoted to laboratory expansion, discovered vegetation degeneration and a variety of other strange signs of decay in the plants and animals on Mythrari, including fish and other wildlife die-offs. I received these incidents in my logs, and while exploring I have noted that those points of interest are still occurring. Further into the jungle from the initial coastal area near the laboratory facility, there are many areas where the trees are often rotten. Plants and animals are decaying, and there seems to be no apparent reason. I am investigating. First thing that I have discovered is I am not alone on this island. The night I met him, it was pouring rain. My shelter I'd constructed a little ways north of the laboratory in the forest was being pelted heavily, and I was struggling to keep the water from invading the space. Thunder and lightning tore across this dark sky. I tried to use buckets, barrels, anything that I could to collect the rainwater. But I was in some dire muck, as you might have it, praying that the night will just be over, when I realized I was being watched. I was startled at first, because I saw figures darting through the trees, and then I was confronted by spear points and tiny grunts as a small band of colorfully adorned tribesmen approached me. There's no better way to describe them. They were like poison dart frogs, but humanoid people. No more than a meter high, with tiny grunting voices and darting little eyes. I was quite startled. In all the years I have been here, I had not once seen them. I would learn that these people were called the Padu Chuta, or the Chuta tribe, endemic to the island. But beyond them, a taller figure had stood and calmly chuckled. He bid them in their language to stand down. He was an old man with salt and pepper hair, wetly plastered against his face with dark, twinkling eyes. He was wearing a dark tunic that night. He held out his hand and I took it. And so far, the rest of our friendship has been history. I was given safe refuge at his cabin, which was deep in the interior of the island, at the edge of the dark lake. His name, he told me at first, was Darkwood. He would divulge nothing further, only that I had been watched for a long time. I was so incredibly surprised that the Chuta and this Darkwood had kept themselves so hidden for so long, and so well. Eventually we became fast friends, and I learned his right name as Slythe Darkwood, and that he was a practitioner of the lost art, magic. I know what you're thinking, and I didn't believe it at first myself, but now I see it. There is something special out there in the universe. He taught me about the connective arcane and psychonic energy permeating places like Mythrari, drawing people with uniquely energized spirits to it. I learned and will learn as much as I can from this Slythe Darkwood. We continued to investigate the strange decay in the island. The Chuta people are suffering too, and soon I learned the LZ Clutch and its descendants are suffering as well from this decay, and may not have been just affected by the serum trials as first thought. Fish have been dying off, species of small deer were rotting and dying, and the worry is that food will become scarcer and scarcer. This exploration has eventually led us to the island's most unexplored feature, an ancient temple at the center of the lake, a temple older than the Chuta even, older than anything else on the island, the Temple of Angkrat-Bor. We have not gone in yet, but it has been explained to me that the Chuta believe their purpose is to protect it at all costs, as it apparently contains the font of life, the source of the life force of the island, and perhaps even the entire world. Something must be affecting it. But Slythe and the Chuta hesitated trying to enter. While deliberating whether or not we should enter, we started investigating other parts of the island a little bit more, and we would discover leakage of mutagenic chemicals at the Gazamor facility. It had been drifting into the soil of the jungle, and we believe that these chemicals must be responsible. So far we have properly and rightly contained the problem, and it seems to be disappearing. Yet, in my dreams, I cannot shake the feeling that something stirs at Angkrat-Bor. It is a wonder that these devices still work, assuming of course that anyone will listen to these. No matter. I shall record even if my friend Sly thinks it's rather silly of me. It's been another handful of years. I think it must be nearing 1850s by now. Oh, if not in the 1850s by now. I'm old. Getting old. The reality of these things, reality of being alive, I suppose. Although Sly Darkwood doesn't seem to age, he seems only to become more grim, more decisive. I don't know if that makes any sense, but it makes sense to me. Trixie, you know, LZ-47, her clutch has long been grown up, and in fact I think they'll have clutches of little baby Dilophosaurus of their own soon. I'm glad that despite the 89B serum and the mutagenic chemical leakage, they've managed to find a way to live happy lives. I think I've wasted a lot of time feeling guilty about what I could have or should have done to prevent the serum experiments, or resist the Exploratory Sciences Commission's whims, but in the end, none of it was on me. I did the best I could, and sometimes that's alright. It's okay to just do the best you can, and then keep on fighting. I've tried. I've grown to feel more satisfied by that. I've lived a long and fulfilling life on Mythrari. I have friends among the Chuta and a close companion in Sly Darkwood. I'm surrounded by beautiful nature. I now know, though, that the island is full of mystery still. Even that Sly than I don't understand. And believe me, he's been on the island a lot longer than I have. A lot longer than even the laboratory was ever here. Angkrat-Bor sends strange messages. Its essence seems to undulate. That's what Sly said. Sometimes the decay of the island seems to improve, and other times it seems to fall. Still, we've never gone to the temple. Chuta don't like that idea. I think I am too old now for such trek anyway. I worry that the corruption on the island runs deeper than we know, but for now, I shall abide by living in the moment, and watching the world go on, in its beautiful and infinite and microscopic way. Besides, I don't think I have that much time anyway. Dr. Hakesi again. Hello, my friends. It's been a few years, and, this I think shall be my last recording. Assuming that anyone actually hears these one day. Perhaps I am speaking my nonsense to no one. Maybe I'm just imagining a hypothetical abstraction of listeners somewhere out there. I digress. I've asked Lyde Darkwood to help me back to the Gazamora laboratory. I've seen the descendants of the dinosaurs that hatched in my lab some 30 or more years ago. Those days seem like another world. How different everything is now. I am very ill. And I think that happens sometimes when you're as old as I am. Cancer, I'm pretty sure. Probably related to my own interactions and work. The contact with the mutagenic chemicals used in our experiments at this lab and from the cleanup of the others. I wanted to come back here. To be where it all began for me on Mythrari. I felt I had to close the metaphorical loop, if you will. I don't really have much time left, though. I know that my body is going to fail me very soon. Now I am not going to be wasting any time before enjoying my last moments with the people I care about. So I will say this to you. Mythrari is a special place. Its energy can be felt so deeply throughout all things on this island. But there is something very dark lurking at Angkrat-Bor. Something that weaves nightmares into the sleeping minds of its inhabitants. And, whoever hears this, whoever you are, I hope one day you'll come and visit this island, and you'll be able to face it, and offer up some new answers to the mystery. The fish and trees have begun dying off again, just like me. I think at the end of the day, all people really want is to be heard, to be seen, to be felt, and listened to as they are. This was Boss Hakesi. And I hope my messages are well understood. I hope my life is well understood. If it wasn't to anyone else but myself and my dear friends on this island, then that's all right too. I wouldn't have wanted it any other way.
Rhea, do you think it's safe to look outside yet?
I haven't heard anything in a while. Go ahead, but be careful.
The coast looks clear to me. There might be a storm coming.
Is Shell out there?
I'm sorry, Theodora. She's gone.
Let's get moving. If there's a storm coming, we should try to find a more stable shelter. Maybe a cave or something? This lab's roof is caving in.
What was that?
What?
That!
Oh, yeesh. Yeah, what was that?
There's some kind of dart sticking out of the door.
Theodora, don't touch that.
Oh, fuck. It pricked me. Shit. I get it. Poison dart. Fuck. I'm dead.
God damn it. What was the point of even having a fucking crew?
Rhea.
What? I'm slightly preoccupied here and surrounded by tiny poison dart frog people?
Rhea!
What? Who the shit are you?
Call me Darkwood. Out in the tutor, they are not used to visitors. Vicky here will lead us to the settlement. The loss of your friend was incidental and unfortunate.
At this point, I'm honestly not that surprised.
Well, I am surprised that you are here. I suppose you had an opportunity to listen to my friend Hakesi's messages.
Yes. I suppose you're the Darkwood they mentioned.
I am.
Well, it's good to meet you. Also surprising to meet you. I mean, here, of all places.
Truly, I'm glad you're here. The corruption of the island is getting worse, and you look like just the kind of help I need.
Well, that was vaguely ominous. I guess we'll have to find out what that means next time on The Nightmare of Angkrat-Bor.
What was that you just did there?
What? Huh?
That thing you just did.
Oh, next time. We'll see you next time on The Nightmare of Angkrat-Bor.
Yeah, that.
That's like her documentary thing she does.
What's a documentary?
This is gonna be a long fucking track, isn't it? The Nightmare of Angkrat-Bor is a production from Terra Fabrica. It was written by Cleo Urquhart, with audio produced by Cleo Urquhart and Cody Doherty. Music and art by Cleo Urquhart. We've had the opportunity to work with some very talented artists and performers in Denver, Colorado as voices on The Nightmare of Angkrat-Bor. High Prefect Maven Vanderoun was voiced by Spencer Maple. Theodora Hagamoros was voiced by Stevie Gunter. Shell was voiced by Harmony Fisher. Crewmate number 4 was voiced by Gertrude Carrington. Cassandra Redmere was voiced by Silo. Fergus Dale, Cassie, and Dr. Voss Hakesi were voiced by Cody Doherty. Rhea Seahollow, Slythe Darkwood, and the Mind Invaders were voiced by Cleo Urquhart. Our guest voices, found in episodes 1 through 4, were the High Prefect's Assistant, voiced by Matthew O'Neill, the Fisherman and Journalist, voiced by Sylvain Desjardins, and Journalist and Yantali Empire Representative, voiced by Kimberly Kemp. The Nightmare Sequence characters were voiced by Cleo Urquhart, Gertrude Carrington, and Cody Doherty. If you want to learn more about Terra Fabrica and our projects, you can visit terra-fabrica.com or follow at Terra Fabrica Productions on Instagram. And hey, thanks for listening to this tall tale, and hopefully we'll see you again in the future.